Now, typically, I don't get involved in the drama. It's just not worth it most times. Last week, at the time of filming, I did not speak on the XQC and reactionary content drama. That seemed obvious. Like, one person was just definitely in the wrong. No need to pile on. But this one, I've been thinking about it all day at the time of filming. And that would be August 15th, according to my laptop right here. And it is the drama that's unfolding between Gamers Nexus and Linus Tech Tips, Linus Media Group. And here's my take on it. So, if you're unfamiliar with these channels typically deal with PCs. And they are into a lot of the PC game and PC hardware, which is awesome. And if you're wondering, well, Magister Wilbur, why are you talking about this? This matters a lot to the rest of the gaming industry. It's all the same stuff. It really is all practically the same stuff. And you need to follow what's happening with NVIDIA and their GPUs, gaming cards, AMD, Intel, Qualcomm, Apple, all this stuff to find out, like, well, how many Xboxes are there going to be? And frankly, Xbox is the best example. Because if you want to know what's going on with Xbox in their future, you got to look at what Microsoft's doing. What's Microsoft putting in Office? Well, they're going cloud subscription. Well, what's Xbox doing? They're going cloud subscription. It's just what it is. So if you want the bigger picture, you got to pay attention to all the pieces. And so, yeah, there's some drama in the community. And I will say this, I have been a big fan of both. I have been a big fan of both. If you look at my previous videos, you will see LTT gear on me. You will see sweatshirts. You'll see the keyboard shirt that I used to wear when I taught keyboarding. Like, that was just serendipitous. Here I have to teach keyboards to kids, and they come out with a keyboard shirt. Where else am I going to find that? So I'm a big fan, and I'm talking as a big fan in the community for both groups here. So it starts with just what they do, and a lot of it is reviews and hardware reviews. And about maybe a year and a half ago, Linus from Linus Tech Tips said that he really wanted to put an investment in building a labs facility so they could do better testing and get more data-driven reviews. Admirable. Thank you. Appreciate it. We in this industry need more independent reviewers, more independent data, because you really cannot trust the companies. If you've ever watched an Apple keynote, it is the most vague data and graphs that you could possibly imagine, and you gotta wonder, what does it mean? I took a class in college on designing tests and experiments and data-driven just everything for sociological issues, political issues, and you gotta be on point. Well, there have been concerns in the community which were expressed by Steve from Gamers Nexus, or Tech Jesus, whatever. And these concerns were about the processes of how they collect data and the data that's been given. And if you watch the video, and again, this is a React video, it is. I do it all the time, or I typically don't do it. It depends on your definition of React. And I want you to go watch that video. It's 44 minutes long, and I'm going to try to keep this less than that. Go check it out. I'm putting all the links of what you need to watch. I'm going to refer to the WAN show last week. Put a link for that. Response from Linus to Steve video, put it there. I'm actually going to go over a little bit here. But the concerns in the community about the data, they're there. There are some blatant mistakes in what they've produced, and if they're just honest to goodness mistakes, yeah, that happens. Mistakes happen. No one's complaining about mistakes, but there's a lot of little mistakes that keep happening in pretty much all of their videos, which Linus has acknowledged in last week's plan show. That's why it's going to be in the description below, and that they need to put in processes for double checking what's going out there before it gets out there. Cool. But that is a big concern, especially for little guys like me I don't have every GPU on the market. I can't afford to get every GPU on the market. We need the independent testers. We really do need it. And we need to be able to trust that data, because if we can't trust the data, it's going to be used against us. So say like everything's perfect. Everything's perfect what LTT does, but here they have this drama right here. Companies will use this against them. That's like the big thing. So like, gotta know what the processes are, where the mistakes are happening, where you can be stopped. You need to, at this point, double, triple check everything. Make sure it's just on point. But simple, forgivable fixes. Really simple, forgivable fixes. Then Steve also brought to his second main point, conflict of interest. And if you don't know what's going on, Linus Sebastian, the Chief Vision Officer of Linus Tech Tips, Linus Media Group, used to be the CEO. He has an investment in Framework laptops. Very open about it. Very open about it. People are wondering, should they be covering laptops? I'm not sure when the last time they would, but it's a valid concern. Then there's the partnerships with Noctua and ASUS. ASUS being the primary sponsor of their convention, LTX. I'm sure people can cherry pick, favorable, and I completely understand, keeping a friendly relationship with, various companies. If you watch any of it, you know that he does not have a favorable, relationship with NVIDIA and Apple. Like, he's not someone that is worried about pissing people off, but it's nice to have friends in the industry. So it's just a valid concern. Like, how close, like, you're partnering up on all these big things. Nothing to like cry about, nothing to be completely upset. Just, these are concerns in the community. Steve brought the facts about, the mistakes in the data. Just, cool, listen to it. That's it. Well, that's kind of not what's happened. And Steve also brought up one big thing that he didn't want to make as the big point, but became the big point on the internet because it was just a shitty thing that happened, shitty thing to do. And it has to do with, I believe it's Billet Systems. I know it's Billet. I don't know about systems. But anyway, they lent out to Linus Tech Tips, LTT, a copper water block to cool a GPU. And in this video, they did not properly put it on the GPU that it was designed for. They got, data that was all over the place, and kind of just like bashed the idea of this. That last part, that's their opinion, but they didn't properly do the testing. And I'm going to bring this up in Linus Sebastian's response. And, there were instructions on how to properly use it, and that wasn't followed through. Okay, that should have been a video that was scrapped as soon as, that was brought up, or definitely redone. And frankly, it should have been redone at that time with the proper systems. But the big problem is they asked for the prototype water block back. And they asked multiple times. They said it would get it back. It was auctioned off at LTX to somebody. It might have been a competitor. It might have just been some random person. It's gone. It's gone, it's gone, it's gone. Which is the messed up part. Here they get bashed in a video, and now they can't even get their prototype back. That's really messed up. And the internet's up in arms with it and really supporting Billet, which is cool. But let's get into Linus's response. So far, everything that I've seen from Steve is reasonable, and that's how it should have been taken. But this is probably, in my opinion, a very poor response, but I'm going to get it. This was on Linus Tech Tips forum. Unfortunately, you can't go straight to it right now. It's down. So many people have been going to the forum, it's down. But it is on Reddit. I'll leave the Reddit link here for you to look at just to see the original post. Nothing's been edited. But I think this is a pretty poor response, and this is from Linus Sebastian. There won't be a big WAN show segment about this or anything. Most of what I have to say, I've already said, and I've done so privately. Honestly, I would check out, in reference to this, last week's WAN show, which the link is in below. He has talked about criticisms before, and that's cool that you don't want to spend a lot of time on it. Like, just resolve it. And it doesn't have to be on the WAN show. If you don't know the WAN show, it's a podcast show every Friday. God knows when it starts, but it's long, answer question, very frank. It's an awesome show to watch, but I'm sure it's actually going to be a big segment. People are going to do the merch messages and talk about this. So to Steve, I've expressed my disappointment that he didn't go through proper journalistic practices in creating this piece. He has my email and number along with numerous other members of our team and could have asked for me for context that have proven valuable, like the fact we didn't sell the monoblock rather than auction it for charity due to miscommunication. Doesn't matter what you called it. Should be back with Billet. You didn't. You got money for it. Doesn't matter for what. Whether you call it auction or selling does not matter. And the fact that we haven't sent payment yet, we have already agreed to compensate Billet Labs for the cost of their prototype. Well, Steve has posted a response to this response, and apparently that's just not true. That's just not true. When, Linus Sebastian wrote this, it was apparently that they didn't respond until the video came out 2 hours later. And that at the time of this morning when Steve published his new video, there was no price that had been set. So that's just off. There are other issues, but I've told him that, and I won't be drawn to public snip and match over this, and I'll be continuing moving forward in good faith as part of Team Media. When, if he's ready to do so, I'll be ready. Cool. Don't need a snip and match. That's awesome. It really should be like, I hear your concerns, I'll address your concerns, boom, you're done. I have a problem with, moving forward in good faith as part of Team Media. That's what Steve is doing. Stating your concerns in a polite way, in a forum that most people do not have, that's good faith. He didn't call anyone to ban Linus Tech Tips. He didn't call to drop them, didn't tell them to leave float plane. Everyone else has done it. These were just his concerns. He has vocalized his concerns, which are a lot in the community. You don't need to go back and forth. Just, hey, this is how we're addressing it. We hear you. This is how we're addressing it. This is how we're going to be better. And if there needs to be more context, you give the more context. That's it. And so if he's ready to do so again, I'll be ready. That part is what gets me. Like, yes, this is public right now, but it could be resolved in a better way. To my team and CEO's team, but realistically, I was at the helm for all these areas, so I need to own it. Yes, you need to own it. That's what everyone's saying. Own it. Fix it. I stress the importance of our diligence and our work because there are many eyes on you, on us. I'm sorry, because in our diligence, because there are so many eyes on us. Yes, they are on you. That's the point of this video, of that video. We are going through some growing pains. Everyone understands that. We've been very public about them in our interest and transparency. I will say yes. See, again, last week's WAN show where he's asking what to do to have those checks before the videos go out. Perfectly transparent. And it's clear we have some work to do with internal process and communication. Yep, we have already been doing a lot of work internally to clean up our process, but these things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, but that's no excuse for sloppiness. And quite frankly, we all understand that, this is brand new to you guys. But you shouldn't be putting out the data until you know it's exactly correct. And it will take more time. You might not be able to hit those schedules. If you do not know about them, they produce 25 plus videos a week for multiple channels. You might need to slow down. You might need to slow down and make sure everything's perfect. I know that might hit the bottom line, but you gotta have that credibility if you're doing data-driven reviews. Let's go with this. Next part is talking to the community. Basically the same thing. And do we have some notes on our videos? Yes, it's because we're striving for transparency. Again, no one's complaining about that. No one's complaining that, and no one's actually using that against you. It's just, these are the concerns. There have been concerns about just the rate and quality of your videos coming out. Take it as it is. Like, you can keep going if you want, or you can hear it. And it's last week on the WAN show, he was like, I'm happy that should I be happy that I have a community that tells me what they hate when I do it wrong? Something like that. Again, watch the WAN show. I know it's 4 hours, but it's actually a good time. With all that said, I still disagree with the Billet Labs video. Okay, it's Billet Labs, not whatever I said before, just the billet without the second. Not the situation with the return, which I've already addressed above. It's not fully addressed. It's an accuracy issue. It's more like I read the room wrong. That doesn't make any sense. If there were specific instructions on how to use the water block, it's not about reading the room. It's not about reading the room. It's, did you test it properly? We could have, and could is all capitalized, retest it with perfect accuracy. But to do so properly, accounting for the cases, it could be installed in brackets none, which radiators it would be plumbed with. Again, mystery would have been impossible. If you can't do it, with perfect accuracy and do so properly, should you be making this video? Should you be making it? Should you be putting it out there? And that goes to maybe too many videos. And would have been impossible, also didn't affect the conclusion of the video, or so I thought, all in caps again. How would you not understand this? This person's been in the game for a long time. Not use it on the proper, GPU, graphics card, would affect the conclusion. Yeah, it would. At least on the data side of it. You might still, and he's going to go into it. I want to evaluate it as a product, and as a product, if it could manage to compete with the temperature of the highest end blocks on the planet, it still wouldn't make it sense to buy. Okay, if that's your conclusion, no matter what, cool. But given the proper data, it might be someone else's conclusion. Someone else might have a different conclusion. That's just it. And Adam and I were talking about today, he advocated for retesting it, regardless of how viable it was as a product at the time, and I think he expressed really well why it mattered. Yeah, it matters using the thing right. You're not going to stick an AMD chip on an AMD CPU on an Intel board. It's just not how it works. Either way, I'm sorry I got the community's priorities mixed up on this one, and that we didn't show Billet in the best light. Well, it's just the light that should just be shown in. It's not about whether it's good or bad. It's did you do it the right way? Our intention wasn't to hurt anyone. We wanted no one to buy it because it's an egregious waste of money, no matter. And this part, egregious waste of money, no matter what temps it runs at. And we wanted Billet to make something marketable so they can, eat. No need to keep dunking. Okay, we get it. You don't like the product. No need to keep doing that. With this in mind, it saddens me how quickly the pitchforks were raised over this. Well, it's raised over everything, not just this situation. Yes, the internet's focused on this. And quite frankly, it's really shitty what happened to the water block. It's just really shitty. Pitchforks should be raised about that. Should you be at the stake? No, not yet. It also comes a touch hypocritical when some basic due diligence could have helped clarify much of it. Well, Steve did it. And it's honestly a little hypocritical that you're just not accepting feedback. I have a long history of meeting issues head on. Well, this is people bringing you issues. And I've never been afraid to answer questions, which lands me in hot water regularly, but it keeps me in tune with my peers with the community. The reason I can think not to ask me is because my honest response might be inconvenient. No. Steve has come with all the information and emails. It's not that. It's just, Steve has a more public forum, and this is what's been going on with your community. And if you kind of don't understand that people are upset by these things and why they're upset about the Billet one, that it wasn't properly tested, that they lost their prototype, that's out of touch. We can test that. It was a mistake, a bad one, but a mistake, and they're taking care of it. Reality managed to have the same reach. At the point of filming, it hasn't been shown. So I hope that it's just going to be we made a mistake, we're fixing it. We're making mistakes, we're fixing it. That's on them. At the time of filming, nothing's been shown that's being taken care of. Especially considering what Billet has sent to Steve from Gamers Nexus. Seems like it just isn't yet. And people are given the benefit of the doubt. A lot of the serious people in the community are like, you know what? It is okay, we trust you, bro, do the right thing. And we need to see the right thing. And it might be a video that you have to make, not just the WAN show. You're going to be talking about this on the WAN show unless you're just going to ignore everything. So, yeah, Steve has been pretty upfront about this, and I explained why this is important, because this really does affect the larger tech community, the gaming community, because, as I said, we do need independent data. We do need it, and we need it to be good data. And this is kind of eroding the trust of, a net positive force in the tech and gaming community, which is Linus Tech Tips. A lot of people have gotten into computing because of this channel, and a lot of people have gotten into gaming. It's, again, net positive. So I am hoping that they take the criticism better than this response. I would like to see a much better response than this. This seems like it was just someone who, it seems like an emotional response, rather than sitting back and saying, okay, this is what people are saying. This is erroneous because of these reasons. This is, considerations that we should take for these reasons. We made a huge mistake with Billet Labs. We got to make sure that never happens again, because, who's going to send a prototype now? And move forward and show the community that you are moving forward. So I'm not one like unsubscribe to everything, burn them all to hell. They can go fuck themselves. No. Mistakes happen. I do understand the growing pains, and so do a lot of people in the community. But it's not going to be the toxic support. It's just not. He asked for not having toxic support around him, and this is what it looks like. So tell me what you think in the comments. If you liked, hit the like button. If you dislike, hit the dislike button. Help me get to 1,000. That'd be cool by the end of the year. And go check out the other videos. Go check out Steve's 2 videos. Check out the WAN show from last week. They're all good. They're all really good. And when you check out Steve's video, I know it's 45 minutes long, but go back to the LTT videos, see what he's talking about. Maybe there's something that you might see that other people haven't seen. Just, do the research. as the old teacher, the former teacher said, do the research, get the facts, get all of that. Other than that, you made it to the end. We love you all. Have a good one, everyone. Bye.